there, Sonia here from A Rainbow of Balloons, and welcome to my balloon twisting tutorial for today. Now before we get into it, I just wanted to share with you something I'm really excited about, which is the launch of my newest Facebook group, that is the Rainbow of Balloons Learning and Resource Centre. This is a group that I've designed for you and me to be able to interact together, and where I can learn from you maybe designs that you'd like to see, if you have any questions about my videos, but also for me to share the clip art that I create with you. Now, if you'd like to come along and join the group, that would be amazing, but I'll also pop a link below to my website where you can purchase not only the clip art for this tutorial, but for others that I have. You can even browse by clip art designs by tutorials that I have available here. So if you learn a few of my designs and you're interested to add them to your board, that's a great way to introduce them to your customers. Now, as to the design we're looking at today, it's from my latest clip art, which is on this beautiful balloon mermaid. Now, there's also a couple of really fun variations that I want to share with you, and I'll get to those through the video. Now, with this design, it's perfect for birthday parties, or maybe to add a little special something to a centerpiece. Not so much perhaps line work, although if you use some of the alternatives, you might find that you can introduce this into a more frequent use or regular rotation. Now, let's get to it. To create this balloon mermaid, what we're going to do is use a 350 for the body, and I've got a 6-inch for the head. Now for the head, you can also use a 5-inch round with a balloon raisin inside, which I've done when I've run out of quick links on the job. So if you're not familiar with that technique, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to make a video for you. Now what we're going to do is tie these two together. If I were inflating these balloons, instead of knotting them individually, I'd just tie them together. That's one way that you can save a little bit of time. Next, I've got a 160, which we're going to use for the arms. Going to start off, that looks a bit hyperinflated there. Get rid of that. So, starting from here, I'm just going to do a fold over twist or a loop twist, taking that knot, feed it back through to help it stay secure. And just a small bubble, which I'm going to pinch twist, so that's the first hand. Next is the arm and elbow. I'm going to fold the balloon over on itself, so it's about 2 inches there, or 5 centimeters. Give it a bit of squish, especially in that joint area, and that's going to create a nice little bend or dynamic shape to the mermaid arm. Just twisting that off. And then I'm going to do another small bubble to pinch twist for the neck. And I'm going to introduce that into these two balloons. So we just put it in. And around. Then we're going to go ahead to repeat the process for this side. Make the arm. Twisting it off there. Proportions look quite similar, so that's good. Going to little pedal. And I generally like to finish the arms with a pinch twist as opposed to the pedal twist. That away, twist on itself. And normally this is the position I leave it in before I remove that excess, tie it off, and I don't know, I just find that that might grip a little bit better for me as opposed to putting in a pinch twist, which might tend to come undone a bit. First those pinch twists. Okay, so this is what we're looking at here. If your knots are showing, you can snip them off, or I'd normally wait till the end to just do any last minute adjustments that you need to do before the design is finished. So don't panic if they're sitting out a bit much. Yeah. Okay, so next I've inflated this 260 for the hair. Now, if you're familiar with some of my other tutorials, yes, it's basically the same thing, but I'll talk you through it, of course, if this is your first time watching one of them. Now, I've inflated it approximately a hand's width of uninflated tail left there. I'm going to start off by tying those two together. quickly and brilliant for that. Otherwise you would get your balloon raisin and you would attach it at that point, but you'd attach it after you've done the pinch twist. I'm just going to do 2 pinch twists. If you're not a fan of pinch twists, you can probably get away with just doing 1, but I like to do it as a bit of extra security because sometimes, yeah, they do pop, and that might really make your hairstyle not as neat in the end. I'm going to fold this balloon down the side and at about the 2/3 point here. Squish and twist it off. I'm going to do another pinch twist. So it's about a 1-inch bubble there. And then another 1-inch bubble. I'm going to go into that area there. Just working that around. Now I'm going to take the hair bubble and go back up into those pinch twists. Twist it off a bit. Just gently ease it under and around, and then we're going to do the remaining side. Twist it, starts to meet the neck area. Bring it around to the back. Now from here what I'm going to do is push the balloon a bit, just getting that a little bit of uninflated area just to finish it up in that pinch twist and tie it off, and just removing the excess. So the reason I like to end it at the pinch twist for that area, it's just to help it less likely to unravel, although you could just wrap off the end into the neck area. Just judge. If it's feeling a bit loose in that area, maybe you don't want to. Alright, now we're going to take a 160 to finish his hairstyle. So I've already gone ahead to inflate my 160 and let all the air out. So when you are working with a beautiful machine like the Legenda, you can do this single-handedly and you look like a star to your customers because they're like, excuse me, did that balloon just be all curly? And you're like, yeah, it did. So now, if you don't have a Legenda, you can use a hand pump, but I'd recommend, again, blow your balloon up all the way, let that air out, and then wrap it around an assistant's fingers, or maybe you've got your own balloon pump or something similar. In this case, I'm just going to use a single digit. When you are using a 260 for this, perhaps instead of a 160, I'd use 2 fingers, otherwise it generally gets jammed up on your fingers and not so good. A bit too kinky, and then you just have to start again. A lovely curl there. Tie it off. So with this curl, I'm going to attach it in at the pinch twist at the back. And now I'm going to tweak the 160 under the 260 and bring it into the pinch twist at the top. Position where you think it looks nice. Now you'll just observe with my pinch twist at the moment, they're in a position where I'm going to try and hide it as I do this second hair bubble to the back. Now I wouldn't be too worried about them being visible or not. They're basically like a design feature, functional yet stylish. Don't we all love? But now I'm going to find where it nicely meets that pinch twist at the back, and I'm going to twist it in place. And just going back to the front, just reposition it nicely so the 160 is sweeping under those 260 hair bubbles. Okay, so next it's the tail. So I'll pop her aside for the moment. And I went ahead to inflate two 160s for the tail. Now it's almost all the way, but you'll notice at both ends, the autofocus there, you'll notice at both ends there is a bit of playroom there, and that just helps to decrease any risk of the balloon popping with too much pressure building up because the air's too near the end. And what I'm going to do is basically find the middle, lift it off, and then just wrap them around each other a bit to make sure they don't want to come undone. I want to pick one of these balloons where we've got a bit more playroom. See, we've already lost a bit of extra space that we allowed for there. Touches the behaviour of the balloon. But I do two small pinch twists, or you just roll it in gently. So we've got a front pinch twist or a little bubble on the front and back. So what that does is help the design stay in place. All right, now I had to wrestle that a little bit more than anticipated, but it should be a fairly straightforward thing. Now the next part is the weaving. With this one, it might look a bit tricky, but it's just basically a repeated action of weaving one balloon under and over, under and over. So I might turn around so you can see what I'm looking at. So with it, I'm going to start to the left, and it goes over, it goes under, it goes over. Okay, so let's try and repeat that. Over, under, over, over, under, over. Okay, looks pretty good. You'll notice that it's starting to lean in one direction, and I do actually like it when it does that. It's a bit of a dynamic and fun shape that's getting incorporated into the design. I'm going to twist them all in where they meet. Wrap that a few times around themselves, so hopefully that doesn't want to go anywhere. Now at this point you can really see that their pressure's built up in these areas, and we want to try and avoid any incidents of it popping, so just focus on using the ones where you can see that you've got a bit more playroom in. I like to have two pinch twists at the top. You can change up the balloon you choose, so maybe I did it with this one just now, maybe I'll do it with this one next, or you can do the same, it's really up to you. Not so much as a pinch twist, but I'm rolling that excess balloon around. Okay. So basically we're going to be removing whatever ends we no longer need, but we want to have just the top part of the mermaid tail there too. So what I'm going to do is I select the one, just twisting it around so I can remove the end hopefully safely without anything popping. And then I'm looking at this one, and I think if that's been folded over, that's almost the size that I need. So I'm going to twist off this small bubble. And then bring it in. Okay. So in this particular instance, one's slightly bigger than the other, but I'm not going to fuss too much because I feel like it's done. You don't want to overwork it because there's a higher chance of something going wrong. And phone this off. I say, oh, I'm not so worried about there being 3 bubbles. If you are, just maybe save the pinch twist right till the end if you would rather it look all neat. Otherwise, I just put that bit to the back. Just gonna do this. So it can get a little bit tight in this area when you do the design, so you might need a little bit of practice to get that. It's been a bit of time obviously since I've been doing them, if that's not identical, but it's not something I'm going to worry about. Okay, so going back to the head and body that we created earlier, twist off the 350. And the bubble's not very big, as you can see, so maybe about 4 fingers. I'm going to introduce that into the waist. Now I'm going to get rid of the tail of the 350, but I'm also going to save it because it can be used for more mermaids, as we discussed. We only use a really small bit of it, didn't we? Tying that off. Now if I want to make this area any more tighter, what I'd do is wrap the mermaid body around it. Just to make it very secure in that area. Okay, and that's it so far. Now we just need to do the artwork. I like to start off by popping a little bit of white onto the mouth to give it time to dry. So just looking at the white bit as the teeth, pretty much. I'm going to create a shape with it. Because the white can take some time to dry, that's why I might pop it on first. Give a bit of a blow. So of course you can do 2 eyes, but I like to do a winking eye because it takes the pressure off making them identical. But it's also a little bit cute. Now I'm going to start adding some other bits of the art design. So for the seashells, and what you can do is add a bit of eyeshadow by going along the top part of the eye. And if it's the same colour as the hair, I'll go ahead to add the eyebrow in at this stage, but you can just use a black marker for that as well if you don't want to be picking up the Sharpie too many times. So looking pretty dry but still not there, but might add in a bit of black for the cheeks. Not strictly necessary but strictly cute. See, should put in a bit of eyeshadow for this side, even though that's going to be our winky eye. Still a bit wet, so I'm going to go ahead to do the lips. I like to try and adjust the angle of the Sharpie as I do it to get some interesting line shapes in. More narrower at the ends, where the mouth happens to join in. Oh, I've got the cheek to the other side, whoops. Depending on what the weather's doing and the kind of white paint marker, it should maybe be drier before mine is, but I don't like using my marker on the wet paint marker. And it's a Posca paint marker for the white and Sharpies for the colour. It's doing alright. So I've just done a pupil, and then use my black marker to add in the rest of the artwork. So pupil, and I'm going to go ahead to do the eyelash. It's a bit hard to do it while I'm talking to you, but yeah, you can go back and make it a bit thicker where it passes over the pupil if you like, and then I'm going to repeat that for the other eye. Oh, I've got the eyebrow there too. I was really thinking one half of a mermaid, wasn't I? Yeah, weird. So you'll see I'm picking up and putting down my markers quite a bit here. That's why it's good to have them quite close to you. Normally I'd have them on the table in front of me. Been trying to put the colours on in an order that makes sense, so hopefully I don't have to keep picking up the same colour, which I've had to do a couple of times. Whoops. The belly button. Funny story, I just found out apparently mermaids don't have belly buttons, but it hasn't stopped me from doing them. Depends on your mythology, I guess. But we're going to go ahead to add some eye shine. Just normally do that where the pupil and the iris overlap a bit there. Just a bit of line there. But you know what mermaids allegedly have, which I forgot? Yeah, I bet you know. It's a nose. So just a small, neat nose. There you have it. That is the finished mermaid. I hope you like it. Now let's have a look at some of the alternatives. Here's one I prepared earlier, and we're going to have a look at how to do a slightly different hairstyle, but also a different tail. We might start on the tail this time to be different. I'm going to start this time at the top of the mermaid's tail. Small loop twist there, and I'm going to do a pinch twist. Followed by another loop twist. They should be approximately the same size. Give it a bit of a squish. I'm going to twist off a bit of a length, and it's about 30 centimeters. What's that? 12 inches? Don't quote me, please. Maybe in between. And yeah, that's basically a couple of handles there. And I'm going to twist a small 3-finger bubble. Bubble slightly bigger than it. Still pinch. Small bubble. Trying to replicate the sizes I've done on the opposite side here. Oh, now I forgot to mention about how much I inflated that. There's probably about between 5 and 10 centimeters. That was uninflated. Just wrapping it around itself. Whoops. And that's where the tail finishes. So we've got one pinch twist in the front and just the end bubble at the back. I'm going to go ahead to twist off the body and pop it into that join we just made. And with this excess, now it's time for the hair. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead to do the hair for this mermaid, and we're going to do it in a style like this young lady is wearing. For it, we're going to use a 260 and a 160. Go ahead to pre-inflate them, and what I've got here is approximately 5 centimeters or 2 inches uninflated. Tie those together. Just start off with a single pinch twist this time. You can do two, and I might do two depending on my mood at the time, but I just want to show you that it's also possible to do just one if you have an aversion to doing them. Like before, 2/3 of the way down the hair, or the head, we'll make that hair. This 1 inch bubble. And then I've got this 1 inch here, which is going to go in the back area of the neck. And back to the back again. And pretty much like before, back into the pinch twist at the top. And back down the opposite side. So bring it around the neck at the front. Okay, so you can see we've still got a bit of uninflated tail, which is great. I'm going to give the remainder of the balloon a bit of a squish. Remove it very slightly, but then we're going to twist this now into that pinch twist. Have it on top. Now, one more twist to go here, and I'm going to hold the balloon back up on itself. And I want to make the bit at the top slightly longer than the bottom. To give it a good squish to get all the air right to the end. So I'm going to twist this balloon in at the pinch twist. And then with that, give it a bit of a bend and pop it in there. You can play around with the position. That is, maybe twist it so it's facing this way. Totally up to you. I tend to leave it in this way. And then we're just going to use the 160 to finish it off, make it look a bit more neater. I think so, so it just hide the nozzle work at the top a bit. I just quite have a thing for giving them voluminous hair. I'm going to use the 160 at the pinch twist. Squeeze it around. Back down the other side. Now, what you can continue to do is actually play around with the balloon. So you could bring that back up into the pinch twist if you wanted to, and I'll show you what that looks like. But also, you can leave it at this point to say, yeah, I think the hair is done. Oh, I've got attacked by balloon hair. Whoops. Through. Down around to the back. So I'm just trying to do everything on camera, but some things tend to creep down. So I didn't really measure how long that 160 is because I kind of play it by ear and just do whatever additional bits to the hair as per whatever balloon I have available to play with, really. So I'm going to go ahead and use the cutter on my legenda to remove that and tie it off. So that's our second mermaid. Now the next mermaid that we're going to have a look at features a bit of a funky tail, but also this time we're only going to use a 350 for the head and body, so to help quicken up the design. And you can mix and match which tail you do with it too, of course, which is like you can see here, the hairstyle and the tail and the balloons used are different, but they still look sweet and lovely and cute and all good things mermaids should be. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to do that mermaid. I've just gone ahead to inflate a 260 and the 350 for the body, and the yellow is approximately palm's width or 4 fingers of an inflated balloon. So pop that there for the moment. What I'm going to do is do a petal twist for the first bit of hair, followed by a pinch twist. And just going to then twist off a bubble. So that's approximately, again, the 4 fingers really, and this time it's going to twist it into the 350 where it meets. You'll notice that the 350 bulbs out a bit, which is great. And then to the side. That around a couple of times. Then you can make a small bubble. Give that a squish with the egg at the end. And pretty much just like before. The top bit is longer than the bottom bit. And position that in there. And then we can go ahead to add in the arms. And you know what? If someone prepared earlier and they're exactly like what we did before. But this time the whole length of it has been done. Making sure that that's in there nice and secure. Now for the next bit we're going to work on the tail. Not my favourite bit. While this tail design looks beautiful, I tend to shy away from it more because there's a higher chance of these 321 B-body balloons popping on me, but it's got a beautiful effect. So now what I'm going to do is thread this onto the nozzle of my Legenda, and I'm going to get the nozzle right up toward the top so the air starts inflating in here first. Just showing you what that looks like. I'm just being gentle with the inflation, allowing the air to go in slowly. So hopefully most of the air stays in that end. As I tie it off, I want there to be a bit of playroom because I want to do 2 pinch twists in the top. So I'm going to squish the air a bit more back towards them. Do 2 bubbles, which I'm going to now pinch, whoops, which I'm now going to let go. Let's do that again. So squishing the air a bit more towards the knot. You think it's going to pop on me? I've got to be brave. Take that knot. It around. Pull it through. Now I'm going to pull those 2 away from each other to create the pinch. Giving it a bit of an S bend and a bit of squish to give it a bit of nice dynamic shaping there. And then you can go ahead to twist off the body balloon or body bubble and put it in at those pinch. Remove the excess. And now we're just going to do her tail fins. Got so many balloons in this tutorial, I'm not sure I've left each one, but here we go, starting again. And with this one, I'm just going to twist off this bubble, give it a bend in the rest of the balloon. Pinch twist and then repeat that shape. Can go ahead to remove the excess. And twist off small bubble at the end of the tail and introduce the tail fins into it. Play around a bit with the shaping. And that's it for her design. So you can again do the artwork in a very similar way, but I really like how she has that special little swish in her tail, and it gets a great reaction as well. And yes, really lucky that it didn't pop on me, because it is my last green 321 bee body, so that is pretty cool. Anyway, so that was a really big tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, why not join us inside the Rainbow of Balloons Learning Centre? I'd really be glad to see you there. So thank you for watching, and until next time, have fun with your balloons. See ya.